their city
streaming
needs to
it.
be run. Those are not the places that they feel the money of their community needs to be allocated.
And but even a step further, they can run for office in their local community. They can run for positions. Like people act like they leave it up to somebody else. If
After this, you want to play some
it's not hard to
squads?
get on the school board. It's not
Yeah,
hard to be a part
probably.
of the city council. It really isn't. And depending on how small your town is, you could be a mayor.
Okay,
The power is with the people, and we need to just know that that's happening.
Absolutely, and it's always been with the people. You know, if you look at Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton, right? She felt that there was a system of racism and a system of oppression that led to her son's death. And so what did she do? She ran for city council, and she was elected to city council. Our own former president, 44, Barack Obama, right, started in the community as an activist, ran for an elected position, became senator, ran for another elected position, and became president of the United States. So don't think that you can't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of power. Your voice is
You see a plus screen?
Amen. I feel like I need to go out and run for something. You gave me a rousing speech there.
Yeah.
Be quiet, be quiet.
You see a plus screen?
No.
Be quiet.
How are you doing? Are you okay?
Hey, what's up,
I'm
Cole?
good. I have a very strong relationship with God, so prayer
I'm sorry,
definitely
Cole.
works
We
for me.
trying to watch
I
this.
have children and grandchildren who are watching me, who are encouraged by what I do, and they're proud of me right now. You know, and that's really what matters. You know, the change starts at home. You know,
There we go.
as long as you have a support system that believes in what you're doing, supports you in what you're doing, you have everything you need to go out there and fight a good fight. And for those that don't, there's a community of people here to help you. And you can go to places like morethanavote.org. There are many different places that will encourage you, inform you, and they will put you with groups of people
It's
that
alright,
feel like
alright.
you, that are ready to take action. So no one has to go about this alone if they want to do it.
Be quiet, be quiet.
Not just this moment. Bundy, it has been an education.
Put it down. Everybody put it down. So we can watch
I
it.
appreciate you. Keep fighting that fight.
Keep up the good fight.
There we go. Another person talking about it.
So our next guest, I have to admit, I'm a fan. But there are so many different people that we can talk to, and I thought it was so imperative that we speak with her. You know her as
Shush, cut that off. We're trying to hear.
Insecure, HBO's Insecure. She also has a comedy special highlighting her Nigerian roots, and she's an amazing podcast. You have such a beautiful way of making things funny, giving us medicine with some tea, right? Humor and healing. You bring all of that to your space. And right now, as you look across this country and how everyone is so broken and so upset, it's not social injustice, it's the pandemic, it's depression. I see so many short clips now, I always forget. How are
you know,
That is insane time for them also. Insane time in the other person.
That is hard, but necessary. That will lead to other. I know it sounds like a lot, but no, I think that God put all of us on a global timeout. Like we just, you know, America hasn't done as good as other people when it comes to timeout, because everyone else is out playing at recess, and we're still in the principal's office hoping and wishing we can come out. But I think that if we settle into the timeout and really learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn from this season, I think we'll emerge better. We'll learn how to play well with others in more ways than one. And so personally for me, I'm taking this time to learn me in a new way. I feel like I'm being ushered into a new season, and I'm getting still, because sometimes the busy confounds the work that we're supposed to actually be doing. You know, we're busy doing other stuff, but we got work that we need to do on the inside. And I'm leaning into it. I'm like, dang, I thought I was gonna be able to rest like everybody else. And God's like, nah, we got work to do.
You know what? And I think that's what everybody is saying about 2020. It's demanding that we be better. And you said it's a global timeout. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like everyone sit down, be humble, to quote the great prophet Kendrick Lamar. But like, no, seriously, sit down and let's reevaluate some things. Let us unearth and shake up the things that we have been trying to hide within ourselves, within our nation. I think America is going through an unraveling right now, a much needed, a much necessary one. And I think all eyes on us, right? There is no, oh, I was on the subway for an hour, so I didn't miss that thing that happened. No, everybody was home. Everybody, was watching when George Floyd died, and everybody, no one could hide it. Everyone was watching when Amy Cooper called the cops. Like, this is a time where it's like, oh, we can't pretend it away. We can't excuse it away. No, 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 no. It's a global timeout. Sit down, watch, and let's learn. And globally, it's like, hey, we were going business as usual, but it ain't usual no more. Like that's old. Anytime change occurs, it's very uncomfortable. And so right now we're sitting with we're getting we're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
The minorities, we've been comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that to me explains just the existence for whatever we want to do, how we break into our careers, how we live our lives, how we find ourselves one of the few or one of the first. And that's a lonely road. When you look at, and when you talk about this global timeout, everybody had to pay attention to Amy Cooper, everyone had to pay attention to George Floyd. How is that helping us as a people, as a country, during our global timeout?
I think, well, one, we're not minorities, Carrie. You already know it. It's like these labels that they put on us. It's like the same way of saying like black on black violence. Also, there's no white on white violence. It's branding,
Yeah,
right? It's
right.
all
Yeah,
branding.
you're right. You're
It's
right.
like white people kill white people every single day. So no, there is no black on black violence. And if you say black on black violence, well then let's brand white on white violence. Like I watch Investigation Discovery. Ain't too many of us doing features. So, I just even like, but to answer your question, what does that do? I think what everyone expected is what has happened in the past when the world was still open, right? In that, okay, you had everyone, from Trayvon Martin to Castillo to Sandra Bland, you had all of these lives lost, and black people made some noise. We rioted, we got out in the streets, we started the Black
Stop.
Lives Matter movement, all of those things. And then white people kind of just like, oh, let's give them something. And then it's just like, is it over? It's like Oscar is so black. Okay, okay, good. We gave some Oscars. Are we good now? Like, are we even?
Mm-hmm.
And it's now it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, no, 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 no. This is not about like a band-aid. It's like, yo, we might have to amputate the leg a little bit, but it's all right because we're going, by amputating the leg, we're gonna save the body. And so I think that's what's happening now. Like, America is realizing, like, oh, black people aren't just making a little bit of noise. Like, the protests are still out, the conversations are still being had, the change is still being demanded. And I think they're seeing, oh, this is not going no way. And no, it's not, because we need systematic change.
What a beautiful way to explore what is happening and describe our country. We might have to amputate the leg, but that's to save the body. That's what's happening right now. That's beautiful, Yvonne. And to that end, I have to ask you this, because the way that we do that, we use our voice. And our voice right now in this world, in this country, is to vote. And everyone talks about voting and how important it is, but I feel like more than ever we understand that it's not just about voting every 4 years for the man in office. It's about your local elections. It's about the mayor. It is about the district attorney, the people who have the power to bring charges against police if police brutality is an issue in your community. If you care about your school district, you can run for the school board. I ask this of you, right? Your parents
Bruh.
are from Nigeria. You are Nigerian. You talk about this very lovingly. What does voting mean for you?
I think voting is power. I remember, I became a naturalized citizen back in the 80s, when because I was still a minor, my mom naturalized, and so we were able to do it under her. And just even that power of, like, we are American citizens, and all the access that we
Don't
have
burp.
by being citizens. One of those
That's
accesses
racist.
and those access to power being voting. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because not only do we have the opportunity to be in this country, but now we can be of the country. We can be of the freedoms, of congruency, of what it actually affords. But I think, going back to your earlier comment about just the setup of system, I think we are done a disservice. Either it's schools or whatever it is, and I'm not putting teachers on blast. I think teachers do a phenomenal job, but for some reason, we do not, and give them all the raises. I know too many parents who are like, this child of mine, I do love them, but hey, who, where can I drop them off? And I do do think that there's a disservice done because, again, when we talk about this, to your point, we talk about every 4 years. It's important to vote for the presidency. We don't realize, like, we actually can vote about like how much our libraries get. It's like small things like that, but they make a big difference.
When you think of voter suppression in this country, what does it look like for you?
It's the systems. When we talk about voter suppression, we also talk about systematic racism, right? It's all the systems that set up, and we've normalized. Okay, maybe your job will give you a half day, or maybe you'll be able to get this luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should be built into the system. It should be built into the fabric of how we vote. But maybe you'll be able to get this luxury in order to enable you to go vote. Think about everything disenfranchised, marginalized Black person has to endure in a day. So in a day, you need to get to work. If something happens to your car, if something happens to your child care, if something happens to, there's so many factors along the way that can send you into a tailspin as an American. And then you add on as a person of color. If you're just trying to get to vote and you already have to go through all of these hurdles and hoops in your everyday life, imagine the one day when your voice really is supposed to matter the most in this country. But then you also see all the times that you've tried to have your voice matter, and then it's been shut down, repressed, told it doesn't matter. And then you're kind of like,
how do we keep hope though? If I'm watching
I see a banana right by me.
how do we as a
Everybody
people
get
stand
it.
on
Dude, this banana kept following me.
fathers have given us?
because have you met Black people? By default,
No.
like hope is infused in our DNA. Like you said, like like if we haven't been broken now through be it through slavery, through capitalism,
Give it to me.
through
Give it to me.
colonization, through segregation, through I mean, listen, the history of Black people in this country is at one point we were 3/5 the people. That's it. That was a written law. And look at us now. We are whole. We are Black girl magic. We are Black boy joy. We are, you know what I'm saying? What I think about in terms of giving us hope, right? We're making a lot of people nervous right now, Carrie. We're making a lot of people nervous right now because they're like, dang, we put all these obstacles in their way, and these jokers are resilient. But that should give us hope. That should give us hope that like we can't stop, won't stop. I mean, I went to the school of Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag, Harlem shaking it right now. We can't stop, won't stop. And I think that's our motto. We can't stop voting and we won't stop voting. We can't stop marching and we won't stop marching. We can't stop thriving and we won't stop thriving.
To that end, because you led me directly there, I've been asking everyone who's appeared on this platform, what does activism look like? And I feel like back in the day, we had an idea. Yes, it is marching. Yes, it is protesting. Yes, it is speaking out against things that we feel are not right or unjust. But talk to me about what activism looks like.
Activism, I think the beauty of activism is that it has faces, right? You're going to have the people on the front lines. Like, you know what? Martin Luther King marched, but there were a lot of women who were in the homes like, hey, BT Dubs, when they come back, this is how we support all the people who are marching on the front lines. And we're going to be here doing what we know to do best.
How much you bet we're going to eat on
to
my
bail them
mom?
out of jail so that now we need to be in the
Bruh, this
community,
kid
getting money or whatever it is. So it's like everybody has a position. So play your position like a shortstop, bro. So whoever you are and whatever
Dude,
you
can you tell this
play your
banana to
position.
stop following
So
me?
activism could look like, you know what? I'm not the one that's built to be on the
Bruh,
front line.
tell
You know
this
what?
banana
My
to stop
pocket's too
following
loose,
me.
so I'm gonna support the people on the front line. You know, I'm a comedian. Black joy is a form of activism.
There's always a call for entertainers or celebrities that have the platform to do something. Why aren't you speaking out? I'm not a believer in thinking that it's more
Hand me a gun. I'm
to
at the top as
be
well.
an activist and be activated in different ways. But talk to me about the
Forever.
community.
That's not bad.
In your world and how you feel like it even inspires you to say more and you do more.
Beneath the
Bruh.
surface of what we do, like it's
Tell this
right?
banana to stop following me and I'll give you 1,000
Like,
V-Bucks.
hey, let me call this.
Bro, why is it like 16 bananas?
Can you do 1,000 V-Bucks?
Ways that we can be better.
What?
In terms of ways that we can actually be more
Give me
uplifting to the
1,000
community
V-Bucks.
that We don't even. You may
I
not
said
even
I was gonna
realize
give you
that you're
15,000
starving.
V-Bucks if you can stop this banana from following me.
In your opinion,
I
for people to vote, our
I
people
stop
to
I
get
stop
out
letting
and
him
vote
follow
this
you.
week.
Oh wait, is you gonna give me the
Yeah, I
15,000
mean,
for real? Like no joke?
guys,
Yeah, that's a joke.
guys. If you think you're
You
I
know?
tired,
wanna stop
tell you
but
right
I'm
now,
please but
we can
You
I
gonna
do
only
beat
have
me up
it.
for not
100.
giving you
But
any
damn, we
V-Bucks?
can't take no joke. I
Dang.
mean, I understand that it may be hard to figure out who
I
to
did
vote
that.
for,
What do you mean? I'm watching the
but at
thing.
the end of the day,
You
we
watching
gotta
my
vote for
what?
our families. We gotta vote for our
I'm
legacies. We gotta
streaming.
vote for continued progress. We have to vote for upward mobility.
What are you,
We
why
have
are you
we
behind
have
me
to vote
doing that?
for equality in a way that is long lasting. And if we
Oh,
succeeded before, we can do it again. We
bruh.
talk about the whole. This is the time.
Bruh.
This is not the time
Why y'all
to
crouching
give
in
up.
my
This is
face?
not the time to pretend away that we haven't made progress. We have. There's so much
Bruh,
more
y'all.
we
Get
can
out
do.
my way,
And
you
you know
see
what? We
banana.
might have to get to a point where we pass the baton to our children and our children's children. But we still have work to do now for that generation.
180.
4G. You are everything. You are Molly.
Hey,
You are
Greg,
not
do you
Molly, but I love you so
between
much as
people
Molly on
or you see
HBO's
us watch
Insecure.
the
You
movie?
are
Like,
an
please,
amazing
dude.
podcaster, Jesus and Jola. Shout out to Lovey. And then we also have movies. Like you, the world. You're full of color. Also, wait, don't let me
Push
forget
him off.
your
Let me
hugely
get off of
successful
me. He's like
stand-up
behind. I
comedy
can't
special on
it's not a piece.
HBO. Girl, I mean, you're doing it all. And I am so grateful. You're truly the dream, not just the American dream. You're the black girl, brown girl, do it all dream. The immigrant dream, the Italian. I really appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing but the best and excellence personified. Thank you so much.
I love you so much, Mama. Mwah.
Yeah, la la.
So Atlanta has been one of the
I'm trying to watch
hotspots in terms
it.
of political unrest and social injustice. We've seen so much happen
What?
in that city, and we've also seen
Go
so
tell
much
her to
happen
charge
in that
it.
city, including one of our very own
Go charge it.
founding fathers
You
of
go
the civil
charge
rights
it.
movement, and that's Martin Luther King Jr. But right
In
now,
Martin
we
Luther
will
King's
Stop.
bathroom.
use this platform to talk about racial injustice.
It's not in the
Who's
bathroom.
trying to help? Atlanta's very own Russ joins us now on We the People. Russ, I'm not going to fan out and tell you what some of my favorite songs were that I listen to repeat on yours. We're going to get to the topic at hand. We got to talk about recently you did an interview where you shared your outlook on culture and music, and you also were very candid about the fact that you have a privilege and that it's necessary for you to give back. Tell everybody about what that is.
As like it's very obvious, I'm white and I'm in black culture and I'm benefiting financially off of it. So I feel like if you're a white person financially benefiting off of black culture, you have to put finances back into black culture. It's that simple. The screenshots with your feelings, it just comes off like fake empathy because it comes off.
I'm just gonna make the I just hit.
Get this banana off of me. Hold on, I'm on here.
I got a Glock and I don't know my password cause you're retarded. I don't know my password cause of you. I got a Glock and it's pointed at
Silence
you.
is the best way to go because it's hard to talk race.
Why is he squatting in your
especially if
face?
you're in the black culture. People just feel as if they can't talk about it. They feel awkward.
It's 66666666666.
How do you find yourself right now in terms of interacting with people? I want to talk to you
Help!
about social
Get this banana off of me.
This banana's weird.
Well, first of all,
Exactly.
picking and choosing whether you want to be silent or not about race, that's
Ow.
a privilege in and of itself. But no, I mean, I try to just do my best to
Give my phone.
listen to the
Give it
the
to me.
people around me and the
Stupid.
educated black people I have in my life. So
Why
I do
were
my
you playing
best
my
to,
phone until it got to
not act like I have all
0%?
the answers for
And plus,
everything,
what were you playing?
especially in a culture that I'm not from. But, that's why when we decided to raise the money
I got a Glock and
Black
it's
Lives
pointed
Matter
at you.
organization, when we raised 500,000, we got on the phone with
Toast banana to get out my way.
Black Lives Matter.
He's blocking.
On the phone phone with Karen
He's
Civil and
blocking the
talking with my friends to
screen.
make sure the money went to like the correct places, you know, and people who really need it. It's just about listening. That's all. It's about listening.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because the way I think of activism, for me, it looks very different. It's not necessarily just protesting on the front.
He's doing
But
Bird, bite him.
being an activist in the way
Bird, bite him.
decided to be one. What inspired you? What
He's
did it
still
look
my
like? You said you
in my
raised money
way
for
duck
Black
collection.
Lives Matter.
Bite him, Bird.
Walk us through everything that you did and how you find yourself.
Bite him.
So for me, it was 3 years ago. I had like string festivals, and I decided
Pet my
that
pet
I was
and I
gonna wear
pet your pet.
T-shirts with a message on them because I figured, what better, what better time to use
Pet my pet and I
platform
pet your
than
pet.
in front of a bunch of people. So one of the T-shirts I wore was
Pet my pet and I pet
if you
your
wanna
pet.
change your sister, speak
Pet
up,
my
white
pet.
silence is pro-racism, the whole thing.
Pet him.
And it didn't really it kind of got swept under the rug back then. But
Now
when
come
all this
here,
stuff
pet
started
my pet.
happening again, and it's been happening, the police brutality against innocent black people. I was
They're
like, man, I'm not the
good.
biggest artist in the world, and I certainly don't have the most white fans in the world, but I got a good amount of people that I can definitely mobilize and turn into some money, and I know they're down for the cause because it's merch, it's a good thing, and I've always been outspoken anyway, and so how am I going to be in black culture and not be outspoken about racism?
And then I got to ask you this, because you grew up in Atlanta, so that gives you a heads up, depending for so many people, because you're in the crux of that beautiful black city where there are so many wonderful black leaders, home of so much great music and things that speak to our culture right now. And we are really, really getting our word out, especially with this platform today, and saying that we must use our voice to vote. Talk to me about what the importance of voting for you in this upcoming election.
Yeah, so full transparency, I had never voted ever. And because, I was one of those people who was like, my vote doesn't matter. And, I don't know, maybe it's because I was younger, maybe it's because I really thought that, or I don't know, but I just think that it's got to, now this is a bit of a privilege to say it's got to a breaking point for me, because obviously it's been past the breaking point for black people, but I think that as a whole, the young people need to get out and vote, because we're the ones that never show up. You know what I mean? We never show up to vote, but we're the future. So,
Bruh, why you do that? Why you do that? Bro, why you do that? Why you do that? Why you kick me out? And I'm leaving.
Why you kick me out?
Why you kicked us out?
I don't know. Yeah, so let's watch the movie again. Hurry up! I want to watch.
No, I'm talking. Got a clock and it's 17 meters up. Ace. It's talking about big. Doopy-dee-doo. I got a Glock in it.
It's like, alright, but did you vote?
There.
And so I'm, I know it's gonna feel good to know that I played a
I can't
small
emo,
role,
but
and that's the problem. I think the mentality of like my vote doesn't matter needs to be changed to my vote.
It's my party now. We can do whatever we want. I'm just gonna get on top of this rock. I used to not be able to
And I
do.
think when you realize that giving actually feels better than receiving, that's when you start wanting to do your part and contribute. So voting is an easy way to give,
Yeah. To whom much is given, much is required, and you have been given and we are so grateful for you, Russ. Philanthropist, artist, community activist, first-time voter. We appreciate you for doing this, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, la.
So cities like Atlanta and Chicago have been at the forefront of the discussions, especially now in this country when we're talking about COVID-19 and systemic racism, as well as police brutality and what we can do in this country. Again, we're continuing our conversation, letting you know that your voice is your vote and your vote is your voice. We can change where we are in this country. Currently, I'd like to welcome in Chicago Cubs right fielder Jason Hayward. I appreciate you. I brought in Atlanta and Chicago because I know you grew up in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, more specifically McDonough. Let's be technical, and you have been very vocal throughout this entire time in terms of what our country's been experiencing. Let's look at the past month and a half, if you will. What has been the hardest thing for you to do?
I'm gonna kick you. I'm not sleepy. I'm just laying down. No, I am not sleepy. And you make me look. My controller. Look at. Tell me. Can you answer this question? Why is my controller moving by itself? Is this hacks or this is just a glitch? Look. Look at it. Look at it. Look at me. I'm not even. Look, I'm gonna now hold the controller. Look what's happening.
Which leads us to more than a vote. It is a beautiful.
Okay, finally you stop for once in your life.
You are a part of that. Talk to me about why that's important for you right now. I'm just be a part of that collective.
To me personally, it's important to be a part of that because
say hi, yum yum yum. Are you playing Granny?
No.
If you playing Granny, then you're a weirdo.
I'm not. I'm watching the Prince family play Granny.
You're playing Granny, now shut up.
So tell me,
Bruh.
in your words, what does activism look like?
LeBron James, the biggest athlete right now on the planet, speaking up and breaking the ice for everyone. And I think for the first time, people see and hear from us. So now we have white teammates, we have roommates, we have other people speaking up and realizing, okay, like this is how we go about doing this. And to me right now, social media, athletes speaking up, entertainers speaking up, like we're trying to do it more than a vote.
You said something I thought was so key because covering sports for so long, I know that it's tough for black players specifically in Major League Baseball to talk about how they feel. Adam Jones did it in a very eloquent way early on, but there are very few that are vocal. You said you all were afraid. Why use that word and why were you?
You were afraid because in 2019 there was 68 of us total. And then 38 teams, 25 man roster, 40 man roster, which is our team. There aren't many. So we're outnumbered. Always in a negative way when it comes to our teammates and our players. But to get to this point, you have to make yourself better. You have to be careful what you say. You can't ruffle feathers. You can't come off in any way. Much like other black entertainers, much like yourself, probably having to live through life every day, but to get to the highest level, you gotta button up, you gotta be seen and not heard. So baseball is, like I said, it's time for us to try and speak up and make a difference and show it's okay to do certain things.
The recon experts are bot.
be quiet, be seen but not heard. That is a an expression that a lot of Black folks can relate to in whatever aspect of professionalism that they experience, especially if they don't work for themselves. They just feel that. That is also a socialization that we have as Black folks, especially like you said, if you want to get to the higher level. And for so long, I felt it bubbling right underneath the surface that so many of us who were in whatever positions we were, who had platforms, were tired of pretending and looking the other way and spending so much time making others comfortable while we were uncomfortable. Do you feel that this is a type of movement that is sustainable, or is it just for a time?
No, it takes everyone joining in on the conversation. Right now, I feel like whatever, as little things as possible to distract from the bigger issue. We saw on draft day, we saw our president hold up a sign saying Black Lives Matter and wanted to include the rest of them to be in there. But now we're having those conversations as well. So I definitely think this is sustainable, and it's not always just going to be the popular thing. This is something that people want to get right into. They know
Jason, you said you think it's sustainable, that what you're seeing, especially with your colleagues in baseball, that this can be something where you're feeling more comfortable, feeling more safe to share how you feel about social injustice and police brutality. What are you doing right now in this moment with your platform to help change how we look at voting and how to educate the culture and the community about voting?
Well, first, what I'm doing is joining up with more than a vote and joining up with other athletes and entertainers to get that message out and use our platform in that sense as a group. And try to create a brand with this to make it something that's not just about the election coming next year. It's about people getting educated for years to come and figure out where to vote and how to vote. We've got people in different areas that cover different demographics and influence different areas of people. And as a baseball player, as a Black baseball player, I feel like now, like we talked about, it's finally the time to show people that you can use your voice in this profession. You don't have to be afraid. And to me, that can help someone, help a kid growing up who can see me, who can see the guys that do it in the field, as opposed to saying, hey, this is what they're standing for. They're speaking up for these things to get paid to want to play baseball. It's not lame. It's not something I have to be as afraid of as I was before. So I feel like that's my role. I have a younger brother as well. He's 24. He also plays baseball. So I've got to lead by example. I can't just always come over here and answer this out on Twitter when I get asked a question on, what do we need to do to make changes. So I'm joining up here to make sure that I take action and get educated myself. But for one, so many people, I feel like in Atlanta, they're on the move. But when you want to try to make a vote and try to cast your vote, you have to do it by mail. You have to sign up for that TV ballot. Then you have to get another ballot in return. They have to send it back to you. Well, for me personally, they didn't send that back until it was too late. Right? We didn't get it in the mail to the address that's an Atlanta address at my parents' house. We didn't get that in the mail until it was too late. And then from other friends and still in Georgia right now, I just hear about them being held in lines too long and trying to get off work. We know how it is for any family, let alone a Black family in the city or in the suburbs trying to take care of the family and trying to provide. You try to get off work, and then they're like, wait a minute, you start looking at the clock. It's not going to happen. Right? And so I saw Mayor Keisha Bottoms, reach out via social media to people and say, hey, I'm going to address these issues right now. I just want to stay in line to catch your votes. Keep hanging in there. So to me in Georgia, that's what that looks like.
Well, it's interesting that you even bring that up because there have been all these images, specifically from Georgia, because that's such a battleground, where you see people, especially when it came to the primaries, doing whatever it takes. And this is real life voter suppression that we're talking about. It's been happening for decades. It's not fake. What you're saying, these examples of sending you your ballot too late after the fact or shutting down the polls at 6 o'clock while people still are in line, that's a real life issue. There needs to be some type of change. And I think that what we're doing right now is fair. But the idea of voter suppression, do you think that is well known, especially with folks, within the generation, your generation?
I think it's known in our communities, right? I don't think it's spoken on enough. I don't think there's been enough light drawn to it. Bring it to light. Let people hear about it. Let people learn about what that looks like. and get more people to say, okay, look, like this is gonna happen. We have to expect this, and we can no longer make the excuse. We can't say they didn't warn us.
Jason, everybody knows, or it feels as if everyone knows that the time is now. America's paying attention to us. We have their eyes, we have their ears. If you look toward the future, what are you most excited about in terms of seeing a change?
I'm excited about how fast the word is traveling. The word is being spread right now. The biggest athletes, the biggest icons, the biggest entertainers are doing their part. But I'm also seeing people out there on the streets doing their part. When so many things got lost, you could have very easily got in commotion when it came to protests, and you saw rioting, you saw looting. People still stood their ground. People still went out there and said, look, we're doing this for the right reasons. We're going to come together. We're going to use drones. We're going to use social media. I feel like this is a new way.
Yo, Cole.
The right way.
You're right about that, and you're right. People are spreading the word unapologetically. We out here. We doubling down. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey everybody, I am so excited to welcome friend, brother, family member, if you will, former colleague, NBA great, philanthropist.
You don't know nobody. You can't. I bet. Where your people from? Where your people from?
So important. That is voting. Everybody, welcome Jalen Rose to We the People. Talk to me about how important it is for the people who know you and love you and look up to you. Why is it so important that you use your platform to talk about voting?
Initially, we have to get past the stigma of dental systemic racism that comes with the presidential race, governors, mayors, senators, judges. We've been conditioned to believe that our vote does not matter. So usually when we looked up at all of those races and people that were running, not only did they not look like us, we didn't believe they were there to represent our best interests. So therefore, as a collective, we didn't mobilize until Barack Obama, and we felt a sense of hope that finally our country is going to do something that we felt would never happen in our lifetime. And I remember being at the inauguration in 2008. I made sure.
Oh, that's high.
And we voted in 2016.
Oh, what y'all want? Some fries.
We didn't vote. And
what you want?
So many people try to make this political. This is not political. Me telling somebody to vote is like telling somebody to pay taxes. So that's one, getting over the stigma of nobody is going to represent our best interest. And then number two, the reality is that the person that gets the most votes doesn't necessarily win the presidency. That's uncomfortable right there. Because that's actually what took place in 2016. The Electoral College chose the president. And if you put all of their pictures up, I'm pretty sure they look a lot more like each other. How about that? And then the third thing, especially in urban environments, oh man, they create barriers for us, Kerry. It's like you gotta jump over the fence, you gotta run past the dog, you gotta jump on the hood of the car. The lines is 5 hours long. You go to the poll and they don't work. So we don't get a day off. It's gonna be a full day, and I gotta work to pay my bills. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mail in vote. And you know what you want people to realize, that counts too. So your vote will be counted if you're able to mail it in. So those are a few things that I hope that we can do and mobilize. And shout to LeBron and his team. Shout to you and everybody involved. We will make a difference.
Well, let's talk about more than a vote. There is a black collective of athletes, of artists coming together and saying voter suppression is a real deal, especially in the black community. When you just talked about, I got to work, so I can't go vote. And then when we do get in the booth, just in case we don't have to work, do we know what we're voting for? Not only do we have to vote, we got to be educated. And it's not always even about the man who's in office or the woman who's in office for president. It's about your local elections. It's about the people who are your DAs, your state DAs, like the people who actually make change in your community, who will change police brutality, who will make sure that your community is taken care of, who will defund police and hope that they can help you in stopping police brutality. So talk to me about why you decided to be a part of More Than a Vote, what it actually means.
Well, it means a lot to be involved in such an impressive collective as you mentioned. And I've said this multiple times, and I know it can be uncomfortable when I say it, but a lot of times we have to get to the root of the issue before we find a solution. And the quote was, I wish America loved black people as much as it loves black culture. And this collective, by the way, represents in a lot of ways what's our role as black people in America. Because we were brought here as labor and to entertain. And we use those vehicles to get paid and move to the suburbs. Of black men in the United States. I'm talking about money, power, celebrity, the ability to mobilize, community involvement, their leadership, their intellect. And so to have all of us pulling in the same direction at the same time for anything that we're passionate about is going to be a difference maker, but it's definitely going to be a difference maker in a 2020 vote, because we're going to make sure we inform everybody that they can let their voice be heard, and failure is not an option.
Jalen, what does voter suppression look like to you?
A perfect example took place recently, Carrie, in Kentucky. It was 6 p.m. at night. So many people standing in line enthusiastic to vote. You know what they did? They continued to bang on the door, continued to bang on the window. They continued to let it be known they were not going to leave the premises until they got a chance to vote. And you know what ended up happening? They opened those doors and allowed those people to vote. So do not be discouraged. These barriers show you that it matters. And we're here to help you break through. The same thing with our platforms and voices, Carrie. Because you know what's going to happen. At some point, Breonna Taylor is not going to be trending anymore. People are not going to be protesting anymore. But it's still up to us to keep making sure that our voices get heard, and this is one way to do so.
Right, and that is a form of being activated, being an activist. It doesn't have to be protesting. It doesn't have to look like what you think traditionally activism looks like. It's voting. It's that simple.
We now have to understand, like, this is a critical mass moment for this movement to continue to hold up as much steam for as long as possible. And that's what this collection is going to hopefully allow for that situation to happen.
Jalen, in today's age of technology, it should be easier to vote.
No doubt. It's like we call these devices smartphones, but yet I can't vote for them. All of the things that we do in our lives are in our phone. All of these barriers are things that people will need to overcome in order to create a level of enthusiasm to vote. And again, this is not political. It's your right to do so. And there's so many times when you feel like somebody may have gotten done unjustly in your community. Pay attention to who the judges are, who's running
Party
for Senate,
chat.
mayor, governor. Pay attention.
What you want?
Who's running for president.
Yo, TV, I'm in your Sweaty Clan. Can you subscribe to that channel?
Can you subscribe to what channel?
So important.
Sweaty Clan, can you subscribe to that channel?
Well, because right now, I think
I'm more
we have
discuss
an
your turn, my
opportunity
boy.
to let our voices be heard louder than ever.
Okay.
Anytime you see the mobilization of white kids holding Black Lives Matter signs, that means there's a breakthrough. Now, what happens with that breakthrough is the next step. You're going to look down in your email, Carrie. You're going to see all of these companies telling you how they're going to work on their diversity, how they're looking themselves in the mirror. They need to make change. Just like in sports, right? You look on the field, on the court, all those black players. Further you get up, it's like altitude or a ladder. It gets thinner and thinner. And so a lot of people talk about the system being broken. I need to remind people that it's not broken. It was built this way. And one of our ways to help change the system is to vote. So that's why more than a vote is so very important. So we can make sure everybody participates and gives themselves an opportunity to let their voice be heard.
I think it's interesting because you talked about black men being very powerful in the U.S. if they're athletes and entertainers, because for so long those have been the only avenues traditionally to create wealth. The NBA season comes back. What are your feelings on the season coming back in the midst of everything that is happening?
I think you'll see players challenging the establishment. You're going to see them saying, okay, if you have all of these marketing and promotional deals, how many of them are with minorities? How many people are you employing in the NBA? What about certain teams? Who do you have as a minority owner? Or what about the candidates that you have for positions of power? NBA players have proven as blacks that they are now movers and shakers in the game. They're now the dog, not the head. So if they decide not to play, some of the biggest social changes and conversations have taken place in sports that weren't during the game. Colin Kaepernick was before the game. The Ali Summit was a press conference. So they could mobilize if they chose to. But when and if you do play, challenge the league. Black Lives Matter. Continue to make sure that every time people are watching the game, they're also seeing the movement happen.
Jalen, I appreciate you because you are always entertaining. I really am looking forward to the NBA season. Thank you for working with More Than a Vote because your voice, your platform, all of it is needed, my friend. Be safe, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I love and appreciate you. One call away always.
Thank you. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Every conversation that we had today, I hope was helpful for you. I am so grateful to everyone who came on with me to talk about what's going on in our culture and how we need to change. Huge shout out to Jalen Rose, Bun B, Jason Hayward, Yvonne Orgy, and Russ. Their words were inspiring, but also important and invaluable. I hope your phone is full with all the information that we've been able to place in front of you. Again, you need to check out these resources because they are so important because we want you
I'm watching Black Lives Matter.
It is important. We, the people, want you to vote. So go to morethanavote.org, fairfight.com, and when we all vote.org. Again, thank you so much for joining us and paying attention because this message, again, is invaluable. I'm Carrie Champion for We the People.
A little bit of weaving, a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of we'll be off. We'll be off. We'll be off.
Don't know what's going on, buddy.
Blah, 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 blah.